Hey guys, it's Truck Doug. I thought I'd show off my new little eBay find, which is this, basically it's like a portable power source, 12 volt to, I think actually, let me see how low it goes. It goes down to 0 volts all the way up to, what is the max output? I think it's like 30 volts. But it just goes right on your 18 volt Milwaukee battery. And so you can just test different circuits. Before I was having to drag a car battery over here to test stuff. And that's kind of annoying. I also at one point had a wall wart that would give me 12 volts. But those little wall warts don't really have enough amperage to do car electronics. You want at least, 10 amps, somewhere around there. So I'm testing this. This is a D1 trans brake transmission. I've decided to start offering those, by the way, if you're interested in D1s, because they're super simple and I can see the utility for a guy on a budget. But I'm doing all my normal stuff, going through and testing his electronics. He just wanted a refresh because this transmission was recently rebuilt. And so all these electronics are new and known good quality. But I do go through and check everything. So I have one of these control boxes. You can get these off of eBay. They're not expensive. And then basically you just power it up, and by going through and putting pressure on the different film parts of the pressure manifold switch, you can activate different gears. So for fourth gear, which is both solenoids on, it looks like you have to press D4-3, drive, and D4 at the same time. So I have these marked with white paint pen, and I had that plugged in, and I just took the end of a pen and checked and found that his original pressure manifold switch was working only intermittently on this particular film. So I grabbed another one here, put it on. I've got a huge supply of used solenoids and switches that I just keep on hand for this sort of thing. There will be another situation like COVID someday where we can't get decent electronics, and I want to make sure that I'm supplied with good stuff. So if the transmission didn't have a torque converter clutch failure where it put a bunch of friction material into the solenoids, I generally save all the solenoids. And if the harness came apart in one piece, like it didn't lose any teeth coming out of the case, then I'll save that as well. And basically, I just run them through the parts washer, blow dry them with air, and then hit them with WD-40, blow dry them with air again, and that should take all the moisture out of the inside and pickle them for a little bit. And then I go ahead and use them like this. But I just wanted to share this neat little thing. These are like 30 bucks and kind of a nice little thing to have for testing. If you have an issue where a trans brake solenoid is not working, it works on the bench, but it's not working in the car, go ahead and run it up and then turn your voltage down to like 10 volts and see if it stops switching. A lot of the trans brake problems I see is because there's a voltage drop after the car's been running for a while. You get a bad ground or something, things heat up, things start vibrating. The story. Automotive electronics are subject to a lot of different ways of failure, and you can diagnose some easy ones just by having potentiometer on the voltage, having a little bit of control over the voltage range. I would love for every car to have 14.5 volts everywhere all the time, but I know that that's not realistic. So I try and test everything at 12 volts and make sure that it works. hope you guys found that a little interesting. That's a cool little deal. It's got a power switch on the back. It came with no instructions, so I don't know what all that stuff. Volts versus amps, SW, no idea. That seems to be the control for when it's off, or the whole thing will be powered up, but you want to have no voltage going out. That's your output. That's your desired output. So it works kind of like that. Anyways, cool little deal. I'll have to try and dig up some instructions for it because I'm sure there's more that it could do. Talk to you guys later. Bye.